Greetings, villains and villainies, heroes and heroines. You're tuned in to Project SuperVillain. I'm your host, Arc Drifter, back with another Project SuperVillain Top 5 of the month. April's coming up, and so we've got some more titles. Actually, we got some really cool ones to show you guys, so I'm pretty excited to jump into this list. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. Number 5, Bramble, the Mountain King. Alright, so this game coming out April 27th for the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, with the Series S and X, and the Nintendo Switch. Developed by Dimfrost Studio and published by Dimfrost Studio and Merge Games. This game is a third-person adventure horror game. It's a single-player game as well, set in a world inspired by foreboding and dark Nordic tales. You play as a child in search of their sister that's been taken from them. This world is full of monsters, and it makes me wonder how anything survives here at all. But you'll make your way through a wonderfully detailed world full of creatures big or small, good or evil. Mainly an atmospheric journey with a simple control scheme, the game seems to focus on the world and the story it's telling you, with no real mechanics in place here aside from running and interacting, it seems. It does look cool, gives me a lot of Little Nightmares vibes combined with Senua's Sacrifice or something. They do feature a sword in it, but I didn't see any gameplay of them using it really in combat, but I did see some platforming, there's some stealth elements in there, potentially. It's tough to say how prominent those features will be, but we'll just have to wait and see. Bramble the Mountain King is coming out April 27th. Don't miss it. Number 4, Minecraft Legends. Alright, so Minecraft Legends comes out April 18th for the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, and the Nintendo Switch. Developed by Mojang Studios and Blackbird Interactive, and published by Xbox Game Studios. So we're looking at a real-time action strategy game here featuring a campaign in a procedurally generated open world. It's got 4-player co-op and 8-player PvP, so it's 4v4. There's a bit of a plot, there's a campaign in this game where the piglins from the Nether are invading. It's kind of like a non-canon spin-off of the base game. Almost like a Legend of Zelda Tale Through Time kind of thing. Look, I'm not a huge Minecraft person, so I'm not 100% sure on the lore and all that stuff surrounding it. But yeah, you're playing as some sort of hero told through the stories of time in the Minecraft universe. And it takes the formula of Minecraft and kind of crosses it over with a tower defense game. So PvP, like I had mentioned, has 4v4 gameplay that requires a lot of teamwork and communication to win. It's really important to strategize which bases you're going for, what you're doing with your teammates, because it's a very hectic and chaotic game. So there's lots to keep track of. But that being said, I highly encourage you to look into this more because there's a lot more of an explanation to this that I'm not doing justice. Definitely look into it if you're a Minecraft fan. If you're a fan of the spin-offs, you'll probably really enjoy this game. Check it out. Number 3, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores. So this is an expansion for the Horizon Forbidden West release of last year. It's coming out April 19th for the PS5 exclusively. It's developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive. So this seems to be, since it's an exclusive DLC to PS5, it seems to be pushing people to go onto the PS5 now, even harder than ever. If you're a Horizon fan, it's almost a no-brainer. You have to get that PS5 so you can play the rest of the game. That being said, it's akin to the way they did the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn with the whole ice expansion there. This time we've got the fire expansion. So I guess you're going to California. There's like a Hollywood sign in there I saw in the trailer, so that's pretty interesting. This brings Aloy to a new unexplored area of the world. Obviously, since this is DLC, you can expect more of what you already know and love. But this is the most recent addition to the Horizon series. It's not a new game in particular, I'm not trying to say that, but it's a big expansion to the game, and actually it takes place right after the events of Forbidden West, so it's right at the end. So that being said, it does add a whole new area to the game, and one thing that we should expect is that they're going to add new gameplay mechanics. They have been pretty quiet about it so far, but that's what they did in the previous game. They added new mechanics when they added the DLC. So if you're interested in the Horizon Forbidden West, definitely take a look into it more in depth yourself, but that's coming out April 19th for the PS5 exclusively. Number 2, Dead Island 2. April 21st brings us Dead Island 2 for the PC, the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, a Series S and X, and it's developed by Deep Silver. Hold on, let me take a deep breath. Dambuster Studios, Yager Development, Sumo Digital. There's 4 different developers for this game. It was in development hell, I guess, and got passed on a couple times. And it's published by PlayOn and Deep Silver. So I'm guessing Deep Silver is the one that ended up with it at the end of the day. Now that being said, the development hell might not mean this is going to be a bad game. It does make me weary, but if you take a look into it, this game does look pretty good. It looks pretty polished, and it does excite me a bit here. So it's a first-person action RPG survival horror shooter. Lots going on there, but it's also got the single player and the 3-player co-op. So the online co-op returns. It's not split screen or anything like that, but if anybody remembers back in the day, I think they had 4-player co-op back then. It is 3-player now. I could be wrong. It could have been 3-player back then, and I'm just tripping. But anyways, 10 years after the events of Dead Island, a lot longer than that in real time, but 10 years after the events of Dead Island in canon, the government has forced California into full quarantine lockdown due to a large new and stronger outbreak that has emerged. So the game, you know, it's not really as much about like how it happens. It's about living in the moment with these kinds of games. So there's 6 playable characters in this, customizable abilities in form of skill cards that allow for swapping skills in the midst of combat. I hear you can jump in the air with one set of skills and swap your skills and have completely different ones by the time you land. That's what the developers apparently said. So anyways, there's also going to be featuring Apex zombies as well. I can't remember if these were a thing. I think they were just like more powerful zombies in the first game, but Apex zombies are specially mutated and harder to kill, and they're more deadly, so they're going to have different abilities and stuff. It's almost like Left 4 Dead at this point. One other thing I wanted to make note of was the hyper-realistic flesh mechanics in this game. There's a lot of detail put into the body structure of the enemies and how their flesh like gets torn from their bodies and how limbs fly off. And I think that's really cool. So just a small thing. And if they put that much attention to detail into that small thing, one can only hope that kind of translates throughout the rest of the game. That being said, let's move on to the next one. Honorable mention: Meet Your Maker. Coming out April 4th for the PC, PS4 and 5, Xbox One Series S and X. Developed and published by Behavior Interactive, and this game is a first-person action shooter, obviously with some horror elements in there, but it's also a stage builder game. So basically, you're looking at a Super Mario Maker Doom. You can run it solo or 2-player co-op, which is really cool. So you have to build your own base, I think. I'm not sure if that's like a required thing or not, but essentially other people will be able to attack your base and steal your stuff, so you want to build a good base. Pretty sure it's going to be a required thing. I'm not 100%, but it does seem like it. And anyways, that being said, it's more about playing other people's bases. You'll build your own, and whether you build a good one or not, it's up to you, but you can play other people's courses, and that's the whole point of this game, is to basically make this like really cool dungeon that's either really fun to play through or really like difficult, or both, like a pleasant combination of the two. But it does feature shooting mechanics, very akin to Doom. There's melee weapons as well, like swords. You can play through seemingly infinite numbers of courses made by tons of people on the internet. You can upgrade your raider as well with different weapons. You can get different traps and stuff set up in your own base. You can upgrade your own suits. You get different abilities and stuff over time. The longer you play, the better you do, the more stuff you get, essentially. You can even unlock new weapons and melee weapons as well. So that's really cool. Kind of a low-key release this month here, but definitely take a look at that one because it looks actually really interesting. I had to throw it on here. Number 1, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Okay, so April 28th, we see the next release of the Star Wars Jedi series for the PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series S and X, so it's a next-gen release only. Sorry, PS4 and Xbox One users. It's developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. So, what a change in pacing we've seen from Electronic Arts over the past 5 to 6 years. Since they've released this game and a couple others, they've seen the success, and I guess they're realizing, wow, this is great. And look at them at the top of our list. Who would have thunk it 5 years ago, thinking like, oh, Electronic Arts, they're going to start making good single-player games. Look at them. They're just letting the developers do what they're supposed to do. That being said, but we got Star Wars Jedi Survivor here, a third-person action Souls-like RPG, where you play as Cal Kestis once again, and this game takes place 5 years after the last game. So one of the cool things I want to make note of right away, obviously, sick beard, Cal. But secondly, you get new stances, mainly right at the beginning. This is a bit of a small spoiler here, but you do start with Twin Blades, a new stance that Cal Kestis has learned in the 5 years, where you basically just have 2 lightsabers, right, in both hands, okay? Very simple. Twin Blades, got it? You learn more stances over time too. Apparently there's like a Kylo Ren stance that you learn, and there's also like a blaster stance that you learn later too. So really cool stuff I can't wait to learn those. But the sad thing is you can only have 2 at a time. Essentially, you're gonna have to pick your favorite 2 and equip those, or maybe pick the best 2 that's applicable for said fight that you're about to go into. You never know. And one thing I really want to point out is while I was watching the trailer, dude, they're bringing back dismemberment. I see some limbs floating around on the ground there. If you pay attention in some of the trailers that are playing, dude, there's literally like some limbs floating around on the ground. I'm so pumped. They didn't have that in Fallen Order, and this is such a like small thing, I know, but like lightsabers should be chopping off limbs. Like, we don't need blood flying everywhere. But that being said, yeah, the game looks really good. It's more of what you'd expect in the first one. I cannot wait. If you haven't played Star Wars Jedi, definitely go play Fallen Order and get up to speed, because it's such a great game. And don't be scared of it being a Souls-like. I know they can be tough games, but this does have difficulty options, and on the easiest difficulty, you can play through so easily. I played through on medium the first time, and I actually ended up playing through again on a harder difficulty later. It was tough. I didn't end up beating it on the harder difficulty because it gets full Dark Souls, you know, and you gotta be careful. But that being said, I'm droning on too long about this game. You can tell I'm pretty excited about it. I'm definitely going to be picking it up when I can. And that's going to conclude our list for this month. So April does have some pretty nice games in store. Definitely check all those out. I highly recommend each and every one of these. They're really cool looking. I mean, definitely do your own research first before picking them up. Obviously, I'm just excited about them, sharing them with you. I do want to make sure you guys don't get ripped off or anything like that. You never know. Some games, like I've covered some games on here that look really good at first, and then they come out and they're complete shit. So it happens. But that being said, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative to you. I hope you, you know, if you did like it, maybe you'll slap a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Any of that stuff helps us out a lot. And don't forget to come back next month to see the games of May. I'd like to know if I missed any games this month that you think are really cool. Let me know in the comments. If you liked any of the ones on this list, let me know in the comments down below. Let's talk about it. I love having conversations with people about the games coming out. I can talk forever about video games. As you can see, I'm just droning. But at this point, I'm going to take off. So I do hope everybody has a good one. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Project Dismissed. Peach out. Yeah, right.